Now that the 2022 Formula One season has ended, it's a great time for us to look back at the season of Scuderia Ferrari. And we can't judge their season by looking at their second position in the Constructors' Championship, since that position doesn't really tell the truth. Everyone's disappointed with the team's performances, including Binotto and Charles Leclerc. In this video, we'll talk about what Binotto said after the Mexican GP and much more. First up, Binotto says Ferrari has to stay competitive in all the races.
It's going to win from pole again and start the season off with celebrations for Ferrari. A 1-2 finish for the Scuderia!
Team boss Mattia Binotto wasn't a happy man after the Mexican GP. It was another disappointing finish for Ferrari, as Sainz finished 5th and Leclerc finished 6th. The Ferrari lacked pace and couldn't keep up with the Red Bull and Mercedes. There's been no match for Red Bull's pace this season, but even Mercedes was quicker than Ferrari. There were some positives in that race regarding Ferrari's strategy, which has been the main reason for their downfall this season.
The Monegasque pits, and it is the hard tyre that he goes on to. Wow, that's brave based on how it's been going with everybody else.
Despite having some great drivers. First, they started the race on soft compounds, which was a good decision, as softs performed nicely on the track. Also, they ended the race on the medium compounds, another great decision. Things could have been much different in Mexico if they had more pace. Ferrari was competitive in Singapore but struggled in Japan. Then they had a great qualifying in the United States but couldn't replicate that performance for the race. Again, they struggled a lot in Mexico. Binotto says, "We don't want to continue in this sequence," and he's hopeful they'll overcome it all. You have to be at your best in every single race. One good race, one okay race, one bad race, and then repeat it all again. This isn't acceptable at all. Next up, Binotto says they stopped their development on the car very early into the season. Another reason Ferrari's performances have dipped drastically this season is that they stopped the developments on their car at an early stage and started thinking about 2023. Now, why would they do something like this? No one knows. They've already started developing their 2023 car and completely ignored their current car and season. Binotto also said he's not concerned or surprised by his team's performances because he knows they're not focusing on their current car. Way to go, Binotto. Mercedes have finally come back to life, and if Ferrari keeps going at the same rate, their second position in the Constructors' Championship could also be in danger. Ferrari was impressive in the final 2 races of the season, and there are many key takeaways for the team from those races. Mercedes was right behind them in the championship, and one little slip-up in the final race could have cost them a position and hundreds of millions in the budget next year. Their one-stop strategy in Abu Dhabi worked sensationally for them. Coming up, surprisingly, Ferrari's strategy proved to be good in Mexico. Ferrari's strategies throughout the season have raised many questions, but surprisingly enough, it was the only thing they got right in Mexico. Other teams struggled with their tire choices in that race, but Ferrari was spot on with theirs. Ferrari planned a one-stop race and executed it to perfection. They started on soft tires and switched to mediums to end the race. Thank goodness they didn't start the race on the hard compounds. Leclerc wanted to make it a 2-stop race, but their strategic team was wise enough not to switch. Now, moving on to what Leclerc wants from Ferrari next season. Ferrari hasn't won a race since Austria, costing them some serious points this season. They started the season sensationally, but their form started to disappear for some reason. The car's pace was there because they had amazing lap times in the qualifying sessions. They have struggled when it comes to the main race on Sundays. Their race strategy has cost them many races this season, and Leclerc says this is something they need to work on for the next season. Their communication has been bad. They don't have any clue or plan before heading into a race. They have been terrible at managing the tires. On a Saturday, they are one team, and then on Sunday, they appear to be a group of freshmen. On race day, everything starts to go wrong. With their driver lineup, they ought to have accomplished a lot this season. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz are sensational talents who don't deserve to suffer like this. Just hear this out. Leclerc has taken 9 pole positions this season, more than any other driver this season, but he has only won 3 races the whole year. That's an alarming stat. Now, Leclerc thinks the team is showing some positive signs. Leclerc is right when he says that the team is showing positive signs. Ferrari showed some positive signs in the last couple of races, including Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Considering how Mercedes has struggled the whole year, Ferrari should have already locked in the second position in the championship, but it finally happened in the end, which is the most important thing. But thanks to their tire management and strategies, Abu Dhabi GP was a huge success for them. They were able to dummy Sergio Sergio Perez into a second pit stop. By the time Checo was out of the pits, he was just too far behind Leclerc and couldn't catch him up in time. Leclerc also said that the team has been working tirelessly to improve its communication and strategy, but it still needs to work on tire management. We know how difficult tire management is, but that's why you have a whole team of experts who can help you. They just need to do what they did in Abu Dhabi, and they're good to go for next season. All the other top teams are also doing it, and they're doing it to perfection. They're not making the kind of rookie mistakes Ferrari has been making the whole year. Moreover, Ferrari can be a different force next season if they keep improving their planning. With some little tweaks and changes to their planning ahead of the race, we can see a different beast in the face of Ferrari next season. They have loads of potential with the two drivers on their team, a great and ambitious team principal in Mattia Binotto. They just need to work a little harder than this season. If they can replicate what they did in the last couple of races next season, we can even think about Ferrari winning the championship. Overall, it's been a frustrating season for Ferrari, but we're hoping that they can learn from their mistakes and not repeat them next season. Charles Leclerc says that 2022 has been an improvement if we compare it to 2020 and 2021 in terms of the car's performance, but the results haven't been what we expected. But there's still a bright future ahead of Ferrari, and hopefully they can cash in on that. Now, let's talk about Ferrari's first Le Mans car in 50 years. First off, Ferrari's Le Mans car is a thing of beauty. Enough about Formula One, let's talk about something in which Ferrari is doing something good. It has just released a hybrid hypercar that will compete in the Le Mans 24-hour race and the World Endurance Championship in 2023. Ferrari hasn't been a part of Le Mans for the last 50 years, and it looks like they're coming back with a bang. The Italian team has named their new hypercar 499P. Ferrari was the king of motorsport in the early 1950s and 1960s. They dominated every race. The 1970s were a dark period in Ferrari's motorsport history as they struggled big time and found it hard to focus on different sports simultaneously. Enzo Ferrari then focused only on Formula One in 1974 and onwards. If you've seen the film Ford v Ferrari, you'll know how big of a force Ferrari was in the early days. Ferrari's last win at Le Mans came in 1965 in the iconic Ferrari 250 LM. Finally, let's talk a bit about this thing. The 499P is a completely modern and innovative piece of machinery. The car's body is red with yellow trimming on it. It's the iconic Ferrari combination, and we can't imagine a Ferrari race car in any other colors than that. The P in the 499P stands for prototype, while the 499 is the number of its engine's unitary displacement. This name is a tribute to the earliest Ferraris that were made back in the day for motorsport. Now that the World Endurance Championship has opened its top hypercar category, this regulation change has attracted many former manufacturers to the championship. The likes of Porsche, Peugeot, and Cadillac are also joining Ferrari next year. The 499P is powered by a twin-turbocharged V6 engine paired with a four-wheel drive. The car is also powered by an electric motor unit capable of producing 500 kilowatts. So as far as the WEC is concerned, everything looks set for Ferrari. Let's just hope that their return to Le Mans is a great one. That's a wrap for this video. How can Ferrari improve for the upcoming racing season? Leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.